Okay, going down this letter, we get into Exhibit A and Exhibit B, and history has shown it has to be very rigorous about pinning down DFAS given their behavior and their posture towards this issue. And I suspect they have this kind of posture towards other issues as well, but we'll leave that for another day. So Exhibit A is a denial letter sent to a disabled woman. That's the original denial letter sent to my sister Nancy. And let's just take a quick look. Um, we regret to inform you that your application for a survivor benefit plan has been denied. Um, if a child annuitant marries, then they are now longer eligible for the survivor benefit program. It might seem like I'm picking on minor things to, uh, point out the grammatical error here, but there's been a number of grammatical errors and other kinds of errors which don't lend confidence to the operations of DFAS. And so I figured I'd point that out. But this, there are a number of ways someone can sidestep an issue like this, and one of them might be to say, well, there's no harm here. But if, or to say it's a hypothetical, but when you get to a denial letter like this, it's no longer hypothetical. Some real harm has happened. So that's the point of this Exhibit A. Real harm has happened. A disabled person was denied benefits. And let's go back to here. And I state the wording on that could be better, but careful reading of that page shows that marriage only applies to underage dependent children and not disabled adults. That's simply what it is. And again, to repeat myself, for me to say that's one thing. For someone in the office of someone responsible, like Congresswoman Schakowsky, that's another, and it has a little bit more weight. Okay, so then we get into, it would appear that either DOD 7014 RFMR is being inappropriately applied, or the information on the web page is wrong. And I already went over that in another video. So let's go down to the next section. The Congressional Research Service indicates that 1510 is the population of incapacitated, this stuff suggests that that's the population. The reason for this is twofold. One, to show some real research has been done, which it has been, and thank you very much for that, by the way. And the other is to indicate, the population here is pretty small, so maybe your liability isn't that big. And then let's see. Oh, I'm trying to throw them a little curveball here, by saying, furthermore, it would appear that disabled adults currently receiving SBP benefits would lose their benefits if this rule is applied. And just knowing human nature as I do, people get a little more agitated if they lose something they had versus they're not approved to get something that they never had to begin with. So it strikes me as altogether possible that DFAS isn't doing anything to check whether disabled beneficiaries who were approved because when their parent died they were single, does DFAS check to see if they've gotten married? Does DFAS tell them that they must report a marriage to DFAS and that they'll lose their benefits if they get married? I wouldn't be at all surprised if they don't, in which case this isn't being applied in a uniform way. And can you please verify that benefits are in fact being cut off from disabled beneficiaries if they marry? That's just a pressure tactic. And I was going to make a separate video, but maybe I'll just make it part of this one, that I'm not expecting that this is going to cause DFAS to cave in and reverse this. I'm not expecting that the problem is going to be solved by this letter. This is just a way of putting a little extra pressure on them, and I want to make sure that I've done everything I can for Nancy, and by extension, anyone else who might have been affected by this. Let's see, what other points do I want to make? Oh, as we discussed on the phone, it appears that for most people, for maybe the whole entire domain of disabled beneficiaries who would be denied to get benefits in the first place due to marriage, or theoretically who would lose them if they get married, they are all eligible to apply for SSI disability if they are a U.S. resident. So Nancy might be the only one who can't apply for SSI. Now, that being said, I don't have any confidence that DFAS tells people when they're denied based upon marriage, or if they are in fact with cutting off benefits when people do get married. I don't have confidence that they're telling them, oh, you can get SSI, because they're just not very, they're not taking the posture approach of helping out or doing the right thing. They're taking the posture approach of, if we can say no, and we can not respond to you and put you on a hamster wheel until you go away and we keep the money that your parent paid in, that's what we're going to do, which is kind of awful, but that's what they are doing. And so anyway, I think I'll end this video at this point, and if there's another point I have to make, I'll do another one.